Hey, let's go.
All right, so we are, like I said, we're coming out of WrestleMania season. I think Backlash ties up the last loose ends. And you begin the transition, the road to SummerSlam. That's kind of the next building point where the next set of big matches happen. And I look at the WWE rosters, and I've seen a couple posts on Instagram and things that say the roster's unbalanced. I don't think the rosters are as unbalanced as people think, but it led me to look at a couple weeks ago, a report came out that it had leaked the internal rankings of the faces and the heels on Raw and Smackdown. And it gave for each division like one or two names. And I wanted to try and go farther and get inside the head of like Vince McMahon and Triple H and the WWE and really try to break down and figure out. I came up with my list of how I think the WWE views its current faces and heels moving into the SummerSlam season, as I call it. On Monday Night Raw, I believe we have 10 faces. There's 10 faces, not all baby faces, just faces. We have 10 face characters. And I'll list them off in the order that I think they appear on the roster. Number one, without a doubt, I believe the biggest face on Monday Night Raw right now is Cody Rhodes. And that's a little strange because he wasn't there 2 months ago. So all of a sudden he comes over from AEW and he's immediately thrust as to being, he is the biggest face on Monday Night Raw. He is the prime focus of Monday Night Raw when it comes to the good guys. I think number two is RK Bro. And I think you'd agree with that. You like RK Bro.
Love them.
I think as a tag team, they're likable. I keep wanting them to break up, but it's one of those things like New Day. Unless they have something big planned for Riddle or for Randy Orton, there's no reason to break them up. And if we do try to elevate this tag team division by unifying the titles, RK Bro needs to be there in the mix for a while to give the Usos and Alpha Academy and Street Profits, all these guys, formidable opponents so it doesn't get immediately stale. Would you agree that the third biggest face on Monday Night Raw is Bianca Belair?
Yeah, I would. I love her.
I go back and forth. Bianca's great. She's over with the crowd, but they haven't given her a real moment outside of Becky Lynch. And I know time. It takes time. We got to wait. And Sonya Deville's not that moment. This is a transition. But I do think she's primed to be number 3. And so when I look at the rest of the baby faces here, or the faces, I said, that's a place I'd put her. But the WWE is going to have to nurture this relationship with the crowd. They can't. What they can't do is what they're doing is like put her title match on Monday Night Raw and then leave her off of the next premium live event. Doesn't make sense to me. Why was her match with Sonya Deville not on the Backlash card?
It would have been a good one there.
It feels like it was perfect. And I mean, you want my real opinion? Mm-hmm. I do believe that somehow internally that because Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch outshined Charlotte and Ronda at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I do believe there's something political inside of WWE happening that was like, we can't have a bunch of women overshadow Ronda and Charlotte.
Well, yeah, when you look at the list of people who aren't there, like as you were reading, I was like,
female stars.
That was a lot of girls. Uh-huh. Yeah. It was a very man heavy show. Not that it matters, but like.
Number 4 face on the roster is Bobby Lashley. I think that when the report came out, he was reported as number 1.
Really?
I don't think that's the case. Maybe internally he is, but the crowd doesn't look at Bobby Lashley as number 1, especially when you stick him with Omos. Like that feels like middle. Yeah, it's like middle of the card feud. He's definitely not being pushed to the front. And Raw's in this weird position, not having a world championship. You've got a lot of guys who are just kind of stranded on an island. Number 5, I have Ezekiel. Feels like he's trending upward.
I like him.
It feels like this whole story, and he can, I keep saying, he can give a ton of credit to Kevin Owens, but it feels like right now, number 5 is a place to put him. At number 6, I have AJ Styles. Number 7, Asuka. 8, Finn Balor.
Okay.
9, Liv Morgan. And 10, Rey Mysterio.
You'd put Finn Balor before Liv Morgan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Internally, I mean, they're basically just jobbing Liv Morgan to Rhea Ripley right now.
Yeah.
Although they're kind of jobbing Finn Balor, I still think he has more more credibility with the crowd.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Curious.
I mean, when you look at the bottom of that though, you could interchange those two, and I wouldn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
When you get down to 8 and 9, you're basically not really looked at as well. Where are you going from there? Okay, so then we look at the heels on Monday Night Raw.
Yes, sir.
The heels I have number 1, Seth Rollins. I think that's pretty easy. He's the focal point of every Monday Night Raw. In some form or fashion, he inserts himself into the main event, and countered to him, it's Becky Lynch is the number 2 heel. Right now they're letting her cool off coming out of the Bianca stuff, but still, when she comes out, the crowd reacts.
Definitely.
And she definitely will build up steam again, and she will rise back to the top. She just had a long run. They let her cool off, and they'll turn around and come back. Number 3, Kevin Owens. And I get that, like, Kevin gets kind of displaced, but it doesn't matter what they put Kevin Owens in, he shines. Mm-hmm. He rises to the top. This Ezekiel shit's great. Pairing him with Alpha Academy, great. The way that match finished, where he cheats to win the match and then he kind of walks off. He's kind of lone wolf, but Mr. Friendly.
Yeah.
He's so multifaceted with his ability. I talk about, it's what I want from Big E, to be able to play comedic, aggressive, and technical, and mold all these things into a character that works. And I'd like a little more. I don't need Big E to be a carbon copy, but Big E just needs to figure out the more aggressive side of being physical and being a big guy. Mm-hmm. Number 4, I have Edge. I think his new character fits as far as heels go. I mean, would you put him above Kevin Owens? I don't think so, right?
No,
right?
Not right now, no.
Number 5, The Miz.
Okay.
Which is leading into number 6 is Theory.
You.
And I believe that The Miz is kind of, mentoring Theory, and Theory's going to rise up. Like. I believe Theory's in for a face turn, though, is my only fear with putting him on that list. 7, Rhea Ripley. 8, Damian Priest. 9, Veer Mahan. I mean, would you disagree with the bottom of that list?
I think that's an actual good list.
I think Rhea Ripley is so fucking misused, but I think WWE views her as about the 7th best heel on the Monday Night Raw roster.
I agree 100% with you.
Same with Damian Priest. Like, they're people who can trend up. And Veer Mahan is so new, is why I put him there. He's notable, but he's new. SmackDown, I'm not going to turn this into a long thing. There's 7 faces to me that I could really come up with on SmackDown.
Okay.
Number 1, Drew McIntyre. I think it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
He's the main face. 2 is Ronda Rousey, which is, I think she's so out of place in that spot.
They put her there, or you put her there?
This is how I view WWE ranking.
How you think that
ranking
they
people,
do?
how
Okay.
I think they rank people, right?
Okay, yes.
3, I think, is the New Day, even though they're using them to build up Sheamus right now and his crew. But I still think internally Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are invaluable. They would not let them leave the WWE for anything. They are top 3 faces on the SmackDown side. Number 4 is Madcap Moss. They like this kid. They like him. I like him. And I think he's trending upwards.
Like him.
I like him. They like him. I had a hard time. I put him above Sasha Banks and Naomi.
Oh, I would agree with you, because I don't think they use them enough.
That's my problem. It's the women's tag team division is so misused and it's a clusterfuck, right? Natalya and Shayna Baszler are currently kind of antagonizing Sasha Banks and Naomi, but then Natalya's on NXT doing some shit, I think.
Yeah,
so,
she is.
So people are all over the place. There's not enough emphasis put on that. There's not enough teams that really matter. That are like cohesive units.
They just throw girls together and say, okay, you're a team now.
So this says less about Sasha and Naomi, who I think are invaluable to WWE, and it says more about the state of the women's tag team division.
Yeah.
6, I have Ricochet. I know on internal documents they listed him as like the number 2 face on SmackDown. He's not a bigger deal than Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And maybe that was only men on that list, but I don't remember the context of the list. But I'd say he's the 6th most important thing on SmackDown. And then 7, I have Gunther. And I'm not even positive Gunther is a face. You know what I mean? Like, as of right now, he's just squashing people. I put him there because it seems like people are excited to see him.
Yeah.
The heels on SmackDown, I have number 1's Roman Reigns, biggest heel in all of wrestling. Fight me. He's the best thing in pro wrestling. Anytime someone tells me on social media that Roman Reigns isn't the best thing in professional wrestling, they go fuck themselves. You're wrong.
I agree.
You're wrong.
I used to hate him, but I love him now.
Yeah. Number 2 is the Usos. I mean, and I think that partially on their own accord and partially because the bloodline is the biggest and best faction right now. Yeah. Faction in WWE. 3, Charlotte. Would you agree there?
Yes.
Because when you look at this list outside, those 3 are legitimate big time heels.
They use them all the time.
4, Happy Corbin. 5, Sami Zayn. 6, Sheamus and crew, but they're trending upward.
Okay.
I think Sheamus, Butch, and those guys, they're all trending upward. So that's the way that's how I think WWE views their roster currently. Now, noticeably missing from my list, because people are going to look at that list and go, there's some names on there you didn't throw out there. Shinsuke Nakamura. I think they've given up on Shinsuke. Mm-hmm. I thought we were going to get Shinsuke and Roman Reigns. He came out, got flatlined. I think that as far as WWE was concerned, they were using Shinsuke to build up Rick Boogs. And without Rick Boogs, they don't know what to do with Shinsuke Nakamura. Mm-hmm. I don't think they do. Alpha Academy, while I think I love Alpha Academy, I don't know how long they last. If we unify the tag team titles, then we've got a long line of people that are trying to get into that picture. I think the Street Profits are higher up on the ranking charts than Alpha Academy, and that leads me to Street Profits. A lot of these tag teams are just lost in the mix. They come out with no rhyme or reason, and they get put in matches that kind of complement other feuds. Like Street Profits and Alpha Academy are feuding with each other, but what really for? What is the reason? Like, why? Explain to me why they don't like each other. What is the reason for that? Omos. I put him on this because I don't even know where you put Omos at this point. I have no clue what their plan is. He's not on a trajectory to win a world title, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not getting paired up with Roman Reigns anytime soon. So what is he? In theory, he's going to have the United States title locked down for a while. So what is the upside for Omos? I don't know where I would rank him in WWE Raw heels. Mm-hmm. Maybe above Damian Priest at 8, possibly. And then Mustafa Ali is the last one who just returned back to SmackDown as a face and then got squashed immediately in a 2-on-1 match against The Miz in Theory, which looks to me like they basically changed their mind and were like, no, we got other plans for you. You're going to get to fight Tommaso Ciampa, or it's just Ciampa now. And I assume that's to build Ciampa up as well. I believe this is a little punishment for Mustafa Ali.
No.
Man, do we need another draft? I mean, when you look at that, I don't think so. I've seen the rumors going around that we need another draft. I think there's a decent amount of balance for the amount of time. Monday Night Raw is a 3-hour show. You need more faces. You need more heels. That's just how it's going to be. SmackDown's got Roman and Charlotte, and that's a pretty big fucking deal. Raw has, I would say, the better roster at this point in time, but they don't have a world title. And how long? Like, we got Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw this week. How many times can we do that? Because I know every time I go, is the brand split over? Everybody's like, what brand split? There's a definite brand split. When you go on WWE.com and you look at the rosters, there's 2 separate rosters there.
I think they even mentioned like they didn't plan on ending the brand split.
Was it?
I saw that
was
somewhere.
It a quote or was it just a rumor?
I think it was a rumor.
Yeah, you can't quote rumors. Raw has the 24/7 title, which seems to be taking a kind of a prominent place on television. They're doing a lot with it, but it's a clusterfuck. And sometimes it doesn't make any sense. And, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Drew McIntyre, they were all on Monday Night Raw. All 3 of them. Those are all SmackDown guys.
Yeah.
So maybe the rosters don't matter anymore. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Topic number 3.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Ay, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Don't be show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver, or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show, but you should already